Hi, this is my video review of Icons, Superpowered Roleplaying, the Assembled Edition. This game is pretty much a tribute to those heroes and villains with a theme, costumes, superpowers. It refreshes the archetypical model of the League of Costumed Heroes fighting against the legions of evil supervillains who have these nefarious plans to dominate the entire world or the entire galaxy. And well, the PDF is great. The PDF has some excellent illustrations that have this comic book and Saturday morning cartoon feel to them. The illustrations pay tribute to a lot of your favorite superheroes and villains. You're going to see superheroes that look like Batman and Wonder Woman, and villains that remind you of Solomon Grundy or Abomination. It's a pretty good PDF, and it has an excellent structure. It starts with the rules of the game and then tells you how to create the character, and that's further rules. This is an interesting approach. Sometimes games give you all the information on how to create a character first, and then they give you the rules. But sometimes you start creating your character, or start reading about how to create a character, and you keep wondering and asking yourself questions. How does that work? Or how does that rule mesh with this or that theme? But here they give you the rules first, so you get an idea of how to play the game. I think it would have been better, that's just a personal opinion of mine, but it would have been better if they added the entire rules from the beginning, because they give you some of the rules and then they teach you how to create a character, and they talk to you about how to integrate powers to your character and the way that you create it. And then they give you further rules on how to play the game. I think they should have placed all the rules at the beginning, but that's just a personal opinion. And the PDF comes with a virtual table of contents. It's pretty good. It has a lot of subdivisions, but this book has a lot of different subjects, sub-themes, and a lot of, let's call them footnotes or boxes with additional information and other sections. So I think the virtual table of contents would have benefited from more divisions. And well, the rules are pretty simple. This is actually a game that looks complex, but it has a lot of old school mechanics and many things that simplify gameplay. Well, you have to understand levels and scale to play this game, to carry out the tests. Everything in this game is given a number from 1 to 10, and 1 being weak, and 5 being good, and 10 being supreme. So everything when it comes to attributes or different densities for materials, the difficulties for different tests, everything is measured from 1 to 10, and that's the sort of like the target number you need to hit to be successful in a test. And this is actually pretty cool. You just need to, if you can count from 1 to 10, you understand everything you need to know to implement tests and to carry out different variations of them. And the other cool thing in this game is time is very thematic when it comes to, because when it comes to expressing a superhero theme. So for example, when in other games you have rounds, scenes, turns, campaigns, in this game you have panels and pages and issues and serials, all related to comic books. And everything is very abstract. You can certainly play this game with miniatures, but distance and abilities and benchmarks are pretty abstract. Now when it comes to benchmarks, it's about how strong or how fast or how intelligent your hero is to accomplish different things. So, and more like the target numbers or the difficulties they have to surpass to accomplish something. So for example, if your hero wants to punch through a car or a brick wall, and you're going to check the density. Oh yeah, if that's brick, that's a level 3 difficulty to accomplish. And you, or maybe your hero wants to run faster than a passenger jet, and oh, that's okay, a passenger jet, that's a level 6 task. So your hero needs to test against a difficulty of 6 to see if he can outrun or outfly the passenger jet. And that's pretty much it. Everything you need to know, you just need to to understand the tables with their different levels from 1 to 10, and you know how fast you'll be able to run, how much weight you need to lift, how much distance you need to cover, the densities of different materials, etc. And you know that's pretty handy to have in this type of game, because as superheroes and supervillains, you're going to be punching bad guys through walls and going to be bending bars like a normal thing. So it's pretty handy to have this information. And now the abilities are pretty basic, and they serve to determine your chances to succeed at a task, as I told you. Because every time you carry out a task, you need to have two things into consideration. The first is effort, and the other one is difficulty. Effort is taking into account a particular attribute. Let's say you have a coordination of 5, and you roll a 6-sided die, and the result is your effort. And the difficulty, if you're opposing someone, let's say you're trying to attack a villain, the villain will roll also a 6-sided die and add it to a particular attribute, and the one who succeeds will win in a test, maybe when he's trying to hit someone or shoot with a laser gun at someone. And according to the different, on how successful you are in surpassing the difficulty, you're going to get different successes that will add further effects to that thing. Maybe you're not just punching the bad guy, you're also slamming him. Or maybe you failed miserably and something really bad is going to happen. And well, there's the determination points in this game. Determination points are pretty much like a currency or a fuel that you can use to activate different powers and abilities. They have other effects, making things easier or giving you a lot more trouble. With determination, you pretty much control the flow of how the game is played. If the game master wants the game to have more use of exaggerated superpowers, he's going to give out more determination points more freely. And with determination points, you're going to be able to augment or use different aspects of your superpowers that you won't be able to use otherwise. Now let me talk a bit more about tests, because I think tests are handled pretty well in this game. As I told you, they are pretty simple, just effort against difficulty. The difference between effort and difficulty are the result of the test, but you can also have pyramid tests for prolonged tests, or tests that need have subsections to accomplish something. So for example, let's say there was a bomb in a house or a building, etc., and everything goes up into flames, and so the heroes have to work together and achieve a number of successes before time runs out. So for example, maybe a superhero is going to save the people inside the building, some other hero is going to try to hold the building together using his super strength, and another hero is going to try to find out who set up the explosive, or who planted the bomb. And you need to roll different successes, and if you accumulate enough number of successes, you're going to succeed in this pyramid test. Now this is a very simplified version of what a pyramid test is, because there are many variations and interesting rules you can apply, so the pyramid tests become more exciting. And another interesting thing about this game is qualities. Qualities are like a trait of your character, of your superhero or villain. And according to them, you get to activate different things. Maybe your character is the greatest detective of a specific country, or maybe the most brilliant scientist in that planet, etc. And that will activate different things and give you advantages and a lot of different tactics you can employ. But these qualities may also result in drawbacks or trouble. For example, maybe your character is the smartest superhero, but because of that the villains may try to capture him or her too, so he can build some type of doomsday device or something. And damage in this game is pretty lethal, but the cool thing is that there are many ways in which your hero can get captured and not necessarily die, because you know, in comic books heroes are always captured instead of dying all the time, and they need to escape from this death trap or something the villain prepared for them. And there's also rules for that, so you can escape from that death trap, the laser beam that is about to hit your hero, unless he escapes in a number of minutes. And there's also rules to resurrect your character, just like those characters in comic books when the hero dies, but suddenly he comes back in about 10 issues later, and there's rules for that. And well, hero creation, and now this is where it gets really old school and really cool in my opinion as well. I just love random tables. Everything you determine from your hero, maybe origin, attributes, powers, specialties, everything is random. You can certainly choose the powers and the origins that you want, but I think it's a lot cooler to roll all these random results and try to put them together in order, because you're going to roll pretty crazy things. Maybe your superhero has this sort of like a radiation power that shoots radiation out of his hands, but he can also fly, and you have to make sense of it all. Maybe, oh, maybe my superhero was a scientist and he got his body transformed because of this or that radioactive explosion. Now he can fly and shoot radioactive energy, and you start to make sense of it all. And you determine all sorts of things about your superhero, and you end up with some pretty crazy but fun creations. And powers in this game, they pretty much recreate any sort of superpower you have seen. If you have a favorite superhero or supervillain, you can create it with this game and with the rules for the villain's powers. And because of the benchmarks that I mentioned before, you have a sense of scale of what he can do or what he cannot do. And the game master can alter this scale, so when suddenly you're playing as a superhero, sort of like on a street level, just fighting against thugs and pickpockets and bank robbers, but you can elevate the benchmark, so suddenly the entire game transforms into some sort of galactic conflict where the very fabric of reality is at stake. That's pretty cool, and because this game doesn't have a story or a fixed plot, you can create any type of world or universe that you want. The book even comes with rules on how to create your own universe. It's pretty packed with a lot of information. It's a pretty cool toolkit for creating your own superhero themed worlds. And you have also specialties, so your hero can take certain actions with greater advantage in during different rounds of combat or interaction, investigation, and whatnot. The book even comes with a good chapter on how to run adventures, create them, how to follow the classical superhero comics tropes and conventions of the genre. And it comes with a great list of allies and adversaries, and I have to say it again, a lot of the illustrations in this game will remind you of a lot of the iconic superheroes and villains. Well, let me tell you what I think about this game. I think this game is excellent. If you want to play as the classic custom superhero fighting against villains and going back to the headquarters to regroup and analyze information and things like to the Batmobile, or we need to analyze this or that with the supercomputer and things like that, you're going to love this game. I'm pretty surprised at how it integrates old school mechanics with things that seem pretty modern. I can't find a negative thing about this game, because this game can help you create all sorts of adventures that you want, and so many levels. You can create heroes that are just like people with a lot of gadgets and athletic abilities, or you can create something that looks almost like godlike. Well, thanks for watching my review. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know, and see you later.